Wow, that was awful, man. I wish this was not live, but we're live, right? Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Unpopular Reviews. This is a special edition because, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't pay attention, a couple weeks ago, if not last week, WWE released a top 50 WWE women wrestlers. And it was a very controversial list. Some people agreed. A lot of people disagreed. Said this person should be here. Said this person shall be here. We decided we want to come out with our own version. Not top 50. It's too much. But we're going to do top 10. Few of us here. And this is awful. Like, I should blame my co-host because they got my name wrong here. They got me stuttering. Stuff I usually don't do. Anyway, let's go ahead and bring on these co-hosts. First co-host we want to bring, you know him from Friday Night SmackDown. Well, he's actually moved to AEW, but ladies and gentlemen, that's so Caden. What's going on, my friend? How are you doing tonight?
You know, I'm in a really good mood. We got Mania week this week. I'm really excited for all 80,000 shows we're going to be seeing, and I'll be at Mania in about 6 days, so I'm excited.
So am I. How lucky it is that you get to attend your first WrestleMania with the executive consultant. Let's go ahead and bring in somebody who's not going to be at WrestleMania, but he's going to have a viewing party apparently. And I guess he's going to go around and claim he's the champion, but he probably lose the title by then, ladies and gentlemen. It's your friend, Bad Guy Champ.
Oh man, that is so good. Thank you for having me on the show. Now the show has some gold. I'm ready to talk about top 10 best women wrestlers. I'm excited about this. I'm glad to be here once again.
What you got. That's what you got.
You opened the show with, come on, don't do that to me.
Well, you were talking some nonsense, and that's the only reason how come it ended up like that.
Okay.
Before the show, and then my name was wrong and everything like that.
Okay, and that was my fault.
Actually, I don't blame just you. I blame you, and that's so Caden. It was both of y'all's fault.
Oh, what did I do?
I when I figure it out, I'll let you know.
There you go. Once you figure it out, okay.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
That's going to be on the shirt.
There you go.
Yes. Jesus.
Don't do that, Caden. Don't do that. I have no beef with you. Don't do that.
Elvis wants to say what's up to Caden and Bad Guy Jack screwed me, but that's fine. You can't. If you said what's up, I will never hear it because I'm all the way up here and you're all the way down there. Hey, I just saw the Ant-Man movie, and you made an appearance. I think you got killed though. Stepped on. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Like I said, go ahead, Ronnie.
This is going to be a fun list because we were just shooting the crap yesterday on a watch party, and we were talking about this list, and I forget which one mentioned out of all of us that mentioned it, but like, yo, let's just have our own list on who do we think is the top 10 females? Because like you said earlier, EC, that list was controversial. Like, I'm not saying it was wrong, but I don't think that would have been my top 10. And I can't speak for you guys, the gentlemen up top, but I don't think that was everyone's top 10. So this is why I think it's going to be very fun. So when you sat in and said, hey, we're going to have this show, do your homework. Who do you think is the top 10? It was kind of fun. It was kind of hard because there's a lot of women that was really excluded from this list. And I think it comes from, like for me, I would sit here and say my list comes from the late 90s, early 2000s. Chris' list might come from the 50s and beyond. You understand what I'm saying? So everyone's list is going to be different.
Yeah.
Caden, do you have something to say before we get to the top 10 and I fire Ron?
You know, my list is actually kind of evened out throughout the decades. I would say, I mean, it's majority after 2000. I don't have anybody before that. But it is a lot of newer people, but there also is some people that were before my time. I kind of try to even it out as best as I could.
All right. Well, this is going to be very, very interesting to say the least. And I can't wait to talk about it. We're going to start from the bottom all the way to the top. Number 10 will be the first one. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a picture of who WWE selected as their number 10. When I select that, then we're going to go into that. So Katie's going to tell you his. Bad Guy Champ's going to tell you his. I'm going to end with mine. And I also want to hear the fans of who you would pick as number 10. But WWE, in their top 10 WWE women's wrestlers, they started off with Bayley. And this one actually kind of hurt my heart. You know, Bayley is like my favorite wrestler right now. And she does not have a match currently at WrestleMania, but she was their number 10 in this top 50. That's okay. And who do you have for your number 10?
I actually just changed my number 10. I'm making the official change right now.
The official change.
on my list. I want to go and change it. Let me find where she is right here. Oh, she's not even on there. Oh, never mind. There she is. Number 10, I have Paige, the first NXT Women's Champion. She won her first ever Divas title off of AJ Lee on the Raw After Mania back in 2014. I believe Paige is the number 10. I would have had her higher because she is one of my favorite women's wrestlers, but it's the longevity in her career. She unfortunately had it cut off very early and was gone for almost the 5 years she was, or 3 or 4 years she was actually active. She was gone for half of that. That's the only reason why I have her there.
I like how you just deboed my picture. You know, just because you ain't do your homework means you gotta take mine. Is that what you're doing? Like that's how we going? You took my picture.
The pictures are in there.
I took that time to find. Actually, it even says it on there. It says Chris top 10.
The picture is in there. I'm gonna use the picture. I'm not gonna go find my own.
That is so foul. Like I did that later.
No, that's so Caden.
You are so corny. Like God, somebody helps me. Somebody help me. Ron, you're number 10, please.
I just want to say that's okay in your top 10. Oh, your number 10 pick. Very good pick. I said top 10. My number 10 pick is, I'm sorry, and I don't think there's a picture up because I didn't have an opportunity to put the pictures up, but my number 10 is Jazz. When she debuted in late 01, and then she had a really killer run in like 2002. I don't know. There was a lot I liked about her aggression, the way she. Oh God, I'm sorry, I'm blinking on words. So forgive me, but she was. I really like because I felt like she was really true, not even true to character, but the way she delivered in the ring, I thought she was really good. I just think she was top 10. I as a kid, and I'm looking back at me at a younger age, and when I was watching her, I said, "Oh man, she was awesome." So Jazz is number 10 for me. I'm sorry.
I gotta give some good news to you, bad guy champ. Jazz, I believe, will be challenging for the Impact Women's Champion or the Knockouts Championship at Rebellion.
See, so the thing is, 2002 Jazz is totally different from 2001 Jazz. Watch her in 2002. She was a beast. I mean, she was totally different. She wasn't one of those divas. She was just kick ass, powerful black woman. Just didn't take any nonsense, and that's what I liked about her. And I think even I couldn't formulate the sentence at the moment, but I feel like she legitimized Trish Stratus because Trish needed people, and Jazz was someone who seemed legitimate. So that's my number 10. But I'm glad she's still doing it and kicking ass, with or without hair.
I can see Jazz. I'm a little surprised to see that somebody picked Jazz, but I can't make an argument against her. So that's a very good pick. I'll give you a tad bit of credit for that pick. Before we start, and I tell you my top 10, and I'm going to get to the fans in a second. I do want to give a little bit because there's so many women out there. It's hard, just like the men. It's hard to actually pick a top 10. And you could ask me this week and the next week, my list honestly could change. Next year, my list honestly can change. So I wanted to give a few shout outs to 3 women who almost made the cut, but did not quite make the cut. But I just still feel like they need to be shouted out. And here's 3 of them right here, real quick: Naomi, Ronda Rousey, and Jacqueline. I feel like for the most part, was just a dominant force in wrestling in the 90s. I mean, unfortunately, that was a time where, and I'm not saying Jackie's not attractive. Jackie, I think, was a very attractive woman. Still looks very good for her age. However, was really at the time where you just have to look really, really good in order to be on the television screen. But she was the first women's champion when they revived it back in 1998. So I want to give Jackie some credit for that, as well as being the first African-American champion. Naomi's been in the company for over 10 years. It's just a workhorse. Kind of like Natty, who also deserves a little bit of credit. But Naomi's had so many moments that I think people forget about. The fact she's a 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion is something that SmackDown Women's Champion is not something a lot of people have. And one of which was in her home city here in Orlando, Florida at WrestleMania 33. She also won the first ever Miss WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. So, I mean, just credit to Naomi. And then Ronda Rousey, even though her career was short, was very impactful. I don't think if she was there that the women's revolution would have ended up being as huge as it ended up getting, including getting their own pay-per-view and Evolution and main eventing WrestleMania 35. So I want to give a shout out to those 3 women. Could not make the cut, but definitely deserve some credibility. Let's go to my top 10. And ladies and gentlemen, I actually did the work. Right, I actually went out and I researched. I found out all the information I had. So when I put up to you who I think deserves to be it, I actually have relevant information. I even went out and got a picture for you, ladies and gentlemen. This might be a little hurt to some people's feelings because she was such an icon back in the day. But Lita is my number 10. Lita, who is a Hall of Fame, 4-time women's champion, 2001 Pro Wrestling Illustrated Woman of the Year. Her and Victoria won the first women's steel cage match on Raw in November of 2003. She inspired the careers of, just check this out, AJ Lee, Bayley, Melina, Paige, Emma, amongst so many others. Lita was a staple of the women's wrestling division from 2000 to about 2004, 2005. She retired officially in 2006. However, she really took a long time off due to a multitude of injuries that she had. The reason how come I'm ranking her number 10 as opposed to a little bit lower like most people would is simply because of this. One is because of the injuries. 2, because so many times you have a Hogan and Savage, you have a John Cena and a Punk. Somewhat you could say John Cena and Batista, maybe a little bit Rock and Austin, but a little bit different. Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. She always was like somewhat number 2 to Trish Stratus, unfortunately. More to come on that later. Spoiler alert. But she was always played second fiddle a lot of times to Trish Stratus. They did have a long-standing feud, but Trish Stratus usually came out on the winning end. So as much credit as I give to Lita for a lot of the crap that she did, and trust me, she did a lot. I just mentioned a lot of them there. She had to be ranked at number 10, and I think if it was like 7 years ago, she would be number 3 or 4 easily. But times have changed, and I got to give credit where credit is due. But that's my number 10. Let me go ahead and some of these comments. Mad Dog Kelly says his number 1 is China. He skipped ahead. Number 10, Elvis says it's Rhea Ripley. Okay. Just like when she got into the title shot at WrestleMania, I have no idea how she just hops into number 10 and she's barely had a career, but whatever. Fabulous Moolah's up there. My top 10 past and present equal is Paige, AJ Lee, Chyna, Lita, Trish Stratus, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Naomi, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Flair. And number 10 is Billie Kay for Mad Dog Kelly. So that is the number 10s that we've had so far. Really good list of number 10. Let's go ahead. Number 9, WWE picked Ronda Rousey, woman I just mentioned in my shout outs there. And I can definitely see how Ronda Rousey will make anybody's top 10. I can't argue with that opinion. Some people will think that's a little controversial because Ronda Rousey develops a lot of hate with the wrestling fan base, but you cannot deny the impact Ronda Rousey had in the time that she was there. That's okay. To your number 9, please.
My number 9, I'm going to go with the Glamazon, Beth Phoenix.
Ooh, okay.
Beth Phoenix, I think, is one of the. I think she gets looked over a little bit when you talk about, Alita, Trish Stratus from the earlier 2000s. I think she's incredibly talented, and the main thing that actually pushes me over the edge for her is her 2020 Royal Rumble performance, where she went in there and lasted, I think, 30 to 40 minutes, and half of that was with a destroyed back of her head. And I found that to be one of the most amazing performances by a woman in a Royal Rumble, even though she did not win. That was one of those moments where I would have been perfectly fine with her actually winning because I thought the story would have been very solid there. And I think she has a lot more to offer as well in the ring. She had that run within the tag teams in 2019 for WrestleMania 35 with Natalya, and I thought she was pretty solid there. I think she's done awesome on commentary. For her, it's the longevity of her career, how she's continued to innovate, to keep her career going and stay relevant. I believe that she has actually stayed a little bit more relevant than Lita has, which is why I have her over Lita in my list.
Good. I like that. I'm sorry, do I take over here or are you done?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Who are you talking about?
So number 9 for me was Victoria. Victoria, I feel like, is someone who, especially it was nice to see her at the this year's Royal Rumble and the females Royal Rumble. Started her career late. I mean, I guess the best way I could say it is she started her career late. She had the most innovative finisher for any female at the time, and I think also too around the time. Not to say because we had a Trish, we had a leader. Molly Holly too. I mean, you had some really good in ring, some hand-to-hand stuff, but she was also feuding with, and no disrespect to Christy Hemmings, but you know, like those wrestlers who couldn't keep up with her. I think she was someone who in a lot of ways was trying to keep that women's division, and I thought she did a good job as both as a heel and a baby face. She was better as a heel, but you could still rock with her when she was a baby face, when she did the dancing. Hey, so I gotta go with number 9 with Victoria, because she was someone I think sometimes people forget, but I remember when I was younger, and once again I'm looking back at a younger eye, and I say she did a lot for that women's division once upon a time. So I gotta go with number 9, Victoria or Tara, but Victoria.
Gotcha. Not a bad pick at all. I agree with Beth. I can see why somebody put Beth Phoenix up there. I mean, the youngest Hall of Famer of all time, and she's just had a tremendous impact. Her career ended really early as well, but it was just because she was ready. So I give you that. And Victoria, I had a huge crush on Victoria in the mid 2000s. And she still looks good. So I mean, Victoria was a really solid worker. So I really like Victoria, and I really like that pick.
I was gonna say, she's like 50, but she still look good for her age.
She still looks very good for her age, and she did well at the Royal Rumble. All right, so my number 9 also had a short career, but her career at those 3 years were very, very impactful. I'm talking about the 5'2", 115 pounds, AJ Lee. This is somebody who people still to this day, and she retired 6 years ago, still wish she would come back for one final run because she was that impactful. During the time when they really were not giving a crap about the Divas division at all, she made it relevant. She made it important. She was in a lot of main event feuds, and she knew how to work a crowd. She knew how to work. Was she can she go with the women of today? Yes, she can. Is she going to be one of the top 5 as far as wrestling ability with the women of today? No, she's not, but she can hold her own in that match. But AJ Lee, Divas champion 3 times, won the Divas championship more than anybody. PWI Women's Wrestler of the Year in 2012, 2013, and 2014. And she's the second longest reigning Divas champion. Nikki Bella, of course, surpassed it, probably because they just wanted AJ Lee to lose it because AJ didn't lead the company on the best of terms. But she's also inspired some women in her short period of time. AJ Lee also is remembered for one of her promos, which was somewhat of the female version of the pipe bomb, when she told the Bella twins that talent is not sexually transmitted. So AJ Lee, tremendous talent, great impact. Number 9 in this person's opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Unpopular Review. This is a special top 10 WWE Women's Wrestlers edition. I'm the executive consultant. Over there is That's Okay, and down there Bad Guy Champ. Please make sure you hit that like button while you're here. Hit that love button while you're here. Hit that share button while you're here. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button as well, as we greatly appreciate it. Let's go ahead to number 8 in this list. Number 8, according to WWE, is who I mentioned already, and that is Lita. That's okay. Then what you got?
I'm going to follow right after you. You see, I have AJ Lee at number 8.
You stole again.
AJ, I don't care. I'm using your pictures if I want to. AJ Lee, to me, is one of the best women's talkers that we've had in the last few years. She transcended the Divas division. I believe that she is part of the reason why they had to get rid of that Divas division and finally turn it into a women's division when they did that in 2016. She made that moment with Paige at the Raw after Mania. She's the reason why it was such a good moment with her promo. Again, second longest reigning Divas champ of all time. She is she's just amazing. You listed all of her accolades already, so I don't have to go back through them. But I think she transcends women's wrestling in a way on the mic in a way that nobody else has been able to do besides her, in my opinion. There are people that have gotten close, like a Becky Lynch and like a Sasha Banks, but no one has touched AJ Lee's level in the last 10 years whatsoever.
Ooh, good points there. I forgot to put this up here. Jacqueline from Elvis Martinez and Alicia Fox, who I just noticed earlier was not in the top 50 in the WWE's women's list. And this is funny conversation because earlier this year, there was a big debate in UPR about, is Alicia Fox a legend?
A legend.
And it was split 50-50, and WWE must not consider her a legend because they put, and I know that everybody's going to say, oh, you're hating again. They put Shotzi Blackheart on that top 50 list, and I have no idea why they would put Shotzi Blackheart on that list, but they left Alicia Fox out. I don't think Alicia Fox is a legend, but I think she deserves to be on the list over Shotzi Blackheart. Yes, it's only WWE we're doing this right now. Yes. My top 10, I'm going to try to read this backwards. So Brooke Adams, AJ Lee. Right now we're on number 8. We'll talk about that in a second. Patrick Nelson wants y'all to like, share, and subscribe, which is funny.
Hey, Patrick.
Because I can see who likes, shares, and subscribes, and he has not hit the like button yet. So you might want to do that before you start promoting. But thank you so much there, Mr. Patrick Nelson, the founding father of UPR. Bad guy champ, number 8.
Yes, sir. Number 8. I'm looking at this thing and I don't even see it up here, but I felt like my list was going to be totally off.
Okay.
You
You're trying to cheat too. You and Kaden. I don't know what I'm gonna do with you two.
Nothing. I mean, I'm the champ, but Mickey Jane. Anytime I see Chris smiles, it just the sun is just going down. But I picked for number 8. I picked Melina. I felt like in that later. So when Trish and Lita retired, I felt like she picked up the ball. She was someone, and there's another person too who's going to make my list. But I felt like she was someone who helped carry that division once they left because they were two big names. And where do you go from there? Where do you go? So you got to go into the next batch of talent, and Melina was one of them. She was a tremendous heel. She could do the babyface stuff as well, but she was a really, really good heel. I think that she's someone who hopefully she gets recognized one day and make a no, she did make a cameo. I think like a year or two ago, matter of fact. So I take that back. But I'm just saying, I think she's someone who should get her flowers now because she was someone really great once upon a time. And I felt like, and I'm not saying she carried that division, but she picked up when Lita and Trish left. So I got to go with Melina for number 8.
It's a very interesting choice. I never thought about putting her in my top 10 or giving her any kind of credit, but I completely agree with you. She was a tremendous talent. She did carry the company a little bit more, the women's division a little bit more than people give her credit for. So that's not a bad choice. I kind of like that choice. Let's go ahead with some number 8s. Here it was Alexa Bliss. I think Alexa Bliss does not get the credit she deserves. She survived in a division completely dominated by the 4 horsewomen. Let me tell you that right now. Stephanie McMahon from Elvis Martinez. Michelle McCool, who I also doesn't think get the credit that she deserves because she was very good at what she did. Kaden said AJ Lee was really going to Mike. I put Michelle McCool up there with her. Michelle McCool was very, very good at what she did. Zoe agrees. Yeah, AJ Lee, that's the year I like her. She's a good wrestler, but not a legend like Alicia Fox, to each their own. The Phoenix and Lamathon, the Phoenix. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Unpopular Review. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about 7, 6, and 5. Stay with us. We'll be back in 20 seconds.
The boy is dangerous. They all sense it. Why can't you?
Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Unpopular Reviews. We're talking top 10 WWE Women's Wrestlers. Star Wars Fan of Minutes will be reviewed on Tuesday at 9:15. Glad to see you came back on time, Bad Guy Chat. Let's go ahead and get back into it. It's a bit of a reset. My top 10, 10, 9, and 8 is none other than Lita, AJ Lee, and Paige.
I heard of her.
Did I mention number 8 yet? I don't even think
you did not. No, you didn't mention your 8.
How did I skip me? I did skip me. I went right after. Okay, let me talk about my number 8 real quick. It's Paige, 2-time Divas champion, PWI's Woman Wrestler of the Year, highest female merchandise seller. People don't know that. Before Ronda Rousey, she was the highest female merchandise seller. She was very, very popular in a short period of time. She won the WWE Divas Championship on her first match on the main roster. She's also former NXT Women's Champion, never lost that championship. And she is also one of the pioneers of the Women's Revolution. Give it up to Paige, who had such a short career. She also had one of the largest pops in women's history, if you ask me, the day that she returned from injury after about a year and a half. It still gives me goosebumps to watch it. They were really excited to see her. And if she ever came back, it'll be just as exciting to see her. So I had to give Paige a lot of credit. And once again, another short career, but so impactful was Paige. But that's my 10, 9, and 8. 10, 9, and 8. Kaden, what was your 10, 9, and 8?
My 10, 9, and 8 was at number 10. I had Paige. At number 9, I had Beth Phoenix. And at number 8, I had AJ Lee.
Ron?
So for my number 10 was Jazz, Victoria, and Melina. I'm sorry, I don't have no pictures. I'm not as fancy as these guys.
That's perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and move on to number 7, 10, top 10 WWE Women's Wrestlers. Alundra Blaze, Medusa, was actually ranked number 7. Also not a bad choice. She defying women's wrestling for such a long period of time. She has one of the greatest moments, of course, when she dumped the WWE Women's Championship in WCW. That's what she's really known for, but she has such a tremendous career. That's okay. Then who's your number 7?
My number 7, I have Bailey. Chris is so pissed that I keep stealing his stuff. Well, there's another picture. I'll find it. I got Bailey Dose belts on here.
Oh.
I think before 2020, I would not have had Bailey close to my top 10, but she carried WWE's women division throughout the pandemic. She was fantastic. She showed the best work she's done in her career. She had a very good story done in NXT, which NXT does, of course, matter in the rankings that they did. So I will consider NXT as well. I thought she had widely considered the best women's match of all time across all wrestling brands at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 1 against Sasha Banks. She's had multiple 4 or 5-star matches, according to the guy we don't really care about, Meltzer. But, I mean, in general, Bailey is a fantastic wrestler. She got pushed under for a few years and didn't really get to do as much as she should have and didn't get to shine. She got to shine during COVID with the Michael Cole stuff, with her feud with Sasha, with the Hell in a Cell last year, which was the best match, in my opinion, of 2020 in WWE. She has finally become a top-tier heel, top-tier women's wrestler, and I think she deserves number 7.
That's a good pick. That's a really good pick. Oh, you want to say something, Chris? I saw you take a deep breath.
No, I'm waiting for you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So what number are we on? Oh, we're on number 7. My number 7 was Mickie James. Once again, once Lita and Trish left, you had to go to the next batch of women. Mickie James is someone who, and even now, I think she can really still go. I think I don't know what it is. They just choose not to use it at the moment. But back in her day, especially when she debuted, she came in as the obsessed fan. She had that tremendous WrestleMania match with Trish Stratus, and I think I mean, look at her accolades. I mean, I don't know how many times she held that women's championship, that and the Divas championship. I'm sorry. Oh, okay, 6. There you go. She's a multi-time women's champion, and I felt like once upon a time she was the heart and soul of that women division. And once again, when you had women like Kansas Michelle, and I know there's a lot, Maurice, and I know there's a few other names, and I can't think of every last name, but she was someone like Melina holding that division once upon a time. So I would put her over Melina, but that is my number 7 pick. I gotta go with Mickie James, and I think someone who could still go. I think she had a tremendous. Matter of fact, I'm sorry. Let me throw this in. She had a tremendous match with Asuka at NXT. It was a takeover show. I forget which one, but it was a takeover show, and it was great. And I remember even a friend saying she should go over because she's a legend. But at the time, Asuka was hot, so I understood why, and I was cool with that. But Mickie James is someone who she really held it down once upon a time. Her talent speaks for herself.
Yeah, and you raised a lot of good points. And Mickie James, spoiler alert, is not anywhere in my top 10. I really was debating at least giving her a shout out because she was very impactful also. However, she had a lot of backstage drama that kind of kept it out of there for me. But you cannot take away from the accolades and the accomplishments that Mickie James did. She's a legend. I would like to see her on a little bit more. For whatever reason, as you said, they're not using her. But you cannot take anything away from Mickie James. Good choice. My number 7, I made this list, and I made it to try not to be biased at all because it hurts my heart to see this person as such, not in the top 5. And right now, I think she's one of the greatest wrestlers, period, in the world today. But I had to be unbiased, and I'm looking at the entire career. So I had to give it to the current SmackDown Women's Champion, Sasha Banks. And this hurts my heart because I want her to be top 5. I really do. She's killing it. Hopefully she's really main eventing, not just main event name, but really main eventing WrestleMania on Saturday, but we'll see. Sasha Banks, listen to this. 5-time Raw Women's Champion, 1-time SmackDown Women's Champion, 2-time WWE Tag Team Champion, Grand Slam Champion. Sports Illustrated Wrestler of the Year, PWI Match of the Year with Bailey in 2015, Feud of the Year with Charlotte in 2016, and 2020 with Bailey. Caden said it himself. I agree with it. I think Bailey and Sasha had the best match last year in WWE. Bailey and Sasha had the best match last year in WWE within that Hell in a Cell. 2015's Woman of the Year, and last year she was one of the tag team men and women of the year with Bailey. Sasha Banks and Bailey, more to come on her later, definitely ran 2020. Sasha has been on fire since she came out after taking that long break, extended break, and revealing that blue hair and slapping Natty after Natty was trying to talk about her father. Sasha has been on fire. She's out there. You can tell she has renewed confidence. You can tell she has renewed interest. And she has been, ever since she was announced in the Women's Revolution. What I used to compare when they brought up Becky, Sasha, and Charlotte to the Shield. Somewhat in the same lines. I said, this is Roman, this is Dean Ambrose and stuff like that. Charlotte was supposed to be the star, right? But I said Sasha is going to be Seth Rollins. And I said Sasha is going to be on a whole new level because she had the popularity and she's always had the popularity. And she goes out there and she proves it. She was the runner-up for the Royal Rumble the first year. She was the runner-up for the Elimination Chamber the first year. She always knows if you put that position to her, she knows how to deliver each and every single time, which is why they always give it to her. And it's been like that for years, which is why I really think she will have the first match for in front of fans for the longest time because they trust her to be able to deliver. Do I want it to happen like that? No. But they trust her to be able to deliver. She does it each and every single time. That's why I have to give number 7 to Sasha Banks. And her career alone, Hall of Fame worthy, and can be easily anybody's top 5. But I had to give her number 7. I see Michelle McCool here for number 7. I see Ivory here for number 7. Ivory was very good on the microphone and a very solid wrestler. Love Ivory. Alexa Bliss, number 7. Good choice there. Here's he's new with this list. So Charlotte Flair, Tori Wilson, Becky Lynch, and number 7 is AJ Lee. I'll come back to you for that one. Speaking of which, Mr. Mike Riggs says Billy Kay. I'm not sure I can take you seriously when you see Billy Kay. I'll be honest with you, Mr. Mike Riggs. It's your choice. You can do whatever you want.
Yes,
but I can't.
Good list, yes.
I can't good conscious say Billy Kay. Number 7, Lita for this one. What else we got here? Mm-hmm. I see somebody skipping to number 5. It's shocking that Bayley doesn't have a spot on the Mania card. Stay tuned. I said on Friday, I think she and Carmella are going to end up being the tag team. Yes, Mickey James, happy Easter. Happy Easter to you. Match between Asuka and Mickey James was TakeOver Toronto in 2017.
Thank you.
Patrick Nelson, he's on number 5. Patrick, yeah, thank you. And happy Easter, Patrick. All right. That is number 7. Let's go ahead. Number 6, and WWE picked. Let's see.
Who they pick?
They picked the person I just talked about, Sasha Banks.
Oh, good
gosh,
pick.
she's hot. Yeah, gosh, she's hot. But yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Number 6. That's okay. We on you.
Same exact spot. I got number 6. I have Sasha Banks, the current SmackDown Women's Champion. You already listed off almost all of her accomplishments. I'm gonna add a few more in there. She was ranked number 3 of the top 50 tag teams in the PWI Tag Team 50 in the last year, and that's including male tag teams, which I find to be a great accomplishment. She was ranked the best. Her and Bayley were ranked the best tag team in WWE in 2020. Same thing about Bayley. She carried WWE throughout the pandemic era. In 2020, they made the PC not terrible. They carried that. She had that. She had the solid feud with Asuka that led into a fantastic, quick little feud with Bayley. I mean, a lot of the stuff I said about Bayley also carries over to Sasha, except Sasha did have a very solid career before 2020. She was doing good. She had that awesome. She had 2 great years of Hell in a Cells, where she had 2019, which I thought was the best women's match of that year in WWE, was her and Becky Lynch in Hell in a Cell. She had another great Hell in a Cell with Bayley, and she went to Star Wars. She brought WWE into the Star Wars universe. That I think that causes someone to transcend. Same way about John Cena and The Rock, where they transcended into movies. I take that into consideration about someone that can transcend the business of wrestling and go into Hollywood and bring people into the business as well. That gets more eyes on the product. Sasha was able to do that.
It's mainstream. She's mainstream.
Yeah.
Good list. I like that. That's good. So, for number 6, and it's crazy when you do this list. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I was on number 6. But the thing is, when you make this list, it's so hard because there's a lot of women, and I know I said this earlier, and I'm repeating myself. Hi, she included all 3 of us. That's so nice. She didn't exclude anybody. That's very nice. So it's very hard. But for number 6, I have to go with Beth Phoenix, and I stole someone's picture. Yes, Jack Thief. Once again, what do you do when your top female wrestlers leave? You got to build the next batch. And I think for someone who had to hold, I remember there was a period when she debuted, she was supposed to feud with Victoria. She got hurt. She's supposed to have a Beth Phoenix icon. I can't wait to see, by the way. But she got hurt, and when she came back, she was a heel. And Christopher, hi Christopher. She got hurt. She came back. She was a heel. She was feuding with Kansas Michelle, and I mean, she was really feuding with a lot of and not even just. I think some of the stuff she did with Mickie James was really solid. I mean, I think she was legitimate. She was someone who I felt like she picked up the spot after China, if that makes sense. Like she was someone, she was muscular, she was able, and one of you guys mentioned it earlier. It was 2020 in the Royal Rumble. She had that spot, and it's very cheap plug. Captain Falcon Winter Soldier that's going to be uploaded. The word was badass. She was badass in that scene where in that match where she had the blood in the back of the head and she kept going. She's someone I think she could be on the main roster right now and she would do very well because she would have talent to work with, and she had to work with the best that she could work with. Like, I mean, for God's sake, she had a match. I think she had a Hell in a Cell match. I mean, not Hell in a Cell match. She had a match at Hell in a Cell with Kelly Kelly, and no disrespect to Kelly Kelly, but I think she would even sit here and say that was way out of her league. So I gotta go with Beth Phoenix. She's great.
Fun fact: one of Beth Phoenix's arch rivals was actually Kelly Kelly. They traded the title a couple times, but and Kelly Kelly's best match was against Beth Phoenix because I thought Kelly Kelly was horrible, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, let's see. We're on number 6. Number 6 breaks my heart. Also, much like number 7, Katie and I are trading. I went with Bayley. Bayley those straps. Raw Women's Champion one time, 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion. The longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion I might have. It was over 300 some odd days. It really should have been over 400, possibly 500 days because there was like a week or two there where she lost the title, but she had it for quite a long time. 2-time Women's Tag Team Champion, 2019 Money in the Bank winner, PWI's Feud of the Year 2020 with Sasha Banks, Inspirational Wrestler of the Year 2015, 2016, Match of the Year 2015. I already mentioned my personal favorite match of last year in 2020. Tag Team of the Year in 2020 with Sasha Banks. The top 100 females of 2020. The one of the Grand Slam champions, also NXT Women's Champion. Here's something else that you possibly didn't pay attention to. Only 2 women have won the NXT, SmackDown, Tag Team, Raw championships. Also won Money to Bank, and that's Bayley. That's Bayley and Asuka, right? More on that later. But Bayley would have been ranked a little earlier. She would have been ranked at like 10 or 9 if it was exactly 1 year ago. Yeah. Even though she was already on her way to improve a little bit. She would have ranked a little bit earlier. I would have never ranked her over Sasha Banks. And it's still, but even though it was both Bayley and Sasha last year, carried it. Both of them carried it. If you were to single out one of them, though, it had to be Bayley. For the first time, Bayley was eclipsing because she was doing that well. If the pandemic helped anybody's wrestling career, it was Bayley.
I agree.
And you know what? You reference some championships. You reference their runs. I always talk about the Miz. I always talk about the Miz's Intercontinental Championship run in 2016 to about 2018. Primarily 2016, though, was one of the most memorable Intercontinental Championship runs in the 21st century. It was that good. Bayley's SmackDown Women's Championship run last year was that good. She made the SmackDown Women's title mean more than the Raw Women's Championship. She did. Because she was going out there and she was proving what she needed to do. That's why she and Sasha were so good. They had to give them the tag team championship.
All the belts at that moment.
10. She's in my top 10. She's close to the top. She's close to the top 5 because of 1 year. You take that 1 year out, she's probably losing a couple. She's still in your top 10, top 20, definitely. But she's losing so much. But because of 2020, she has definitely proved she is a contender. We're not even going to talk about the fact she has one of the most entertaining television segments, talk shows right now with Ding Dong Hello. Bayley's a star. Bayley deserves to be where she is. Bayley is my number 6. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Unpopular Review. I'm the executive consultant. That's okay. That's Bad Guy Champ. Please make sure if you're watching us, hit that like button for us. We'll appreciate it. Hit that love button for us. Hit that share. Hit that subscribe. Hit that follow. Whatever button you have for us, it is not dislike. Go ahead and hit us up with it. We appreciate that. And let's get to number 5. We're in the top 5 now.
Woo!
Number 5, according to WWE, is none other than the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka.
Oh my God.
That's so, Kaden. Who is
I'm
your
so
number?
mad.
Oh, I got to go back to these comments. My fault.
No, you good.
I see you guys made the right decision. Put the best beard in business today on the air to carry you both through this unpopular review show. Damian Jones, who does drugs in Colorado. Definitely always a pleasure. Solid show, guys. You do a great job every week. Great to see you, your view and own take up on the top women in WWE past and present. Chris Harris, we think alike. Bailey's my 6 as well. Agree. Do you think that Bailey will be SmackDown's Women's Champion again? No doubt about it. Michelle McCool, according to Jason. And Jackie, according to Mr. Mike Riggs. Frank says Trish. Frankie says Trish Stratus. All right. So, number 5, that's okay.
My number 5 is China. So let's go. I mean, Chris has been bringing up all these accolades here. I'll go through a few as well. She's a 2-time WWF Intercontinental Champion. She is a 1-time WWF Women's Champion. She is part of the WWE Hall of Fame, going in as D Generation X. Unfortunately, she has not gone in by herself due to some other situations that we believe are the reasons why. But I mean, when you think back to the late 90s, you think about China. She transcended women's wrestling at the time. She's another member. I mean, you put her in today's era. That's the worst thing to think about, is she was in the wrong era. I mean, if you put her now, the matches that she could have with people like a Charlotte, like a Rhea Ripley, these bigger girls, she could be fantastic in this day and age. And she could be kind of like what Sasha is doing right now, where she's making it into movies and she's becoming mainstream. That is what China could have been. And unfortunately, she was just put in the wrong era of wrestling. I think that she's a little lower on my list due to the fact that she doesn't have as good of a history behind her in terms of her match quality and in terms of just championships overall, what she was able to do. She did not do that. She was not the person that took the business to the next level, but she was a force to be reckoned with. She competed with the men at certain points. And I mean, you go back and watch some of her old stuff, and she was better than half the men in terms of looking physically dominating.
Ooh. I just want to ask you this. I mean, and this is for Chris, but because I think when China was wrestling, I'm not sure you was around, Caden, and that's not even disrespect, but I'm just saying. But I asked you this: when China was wrestling the men, did that bother you? Because I hear a lot of people now like, "Oh, I felt uncomfortable."
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. And I'll talk more because obviously China's in my top 10. You know, spoiler.
Okay. All right. No.
And I'll talk more about my opinion on that later. But yeah, your number 5, bad guy.
Number 5, she get a lot of heat. And I felt bad because I'm looking at this top 10 and I saw Asuka and I said, oh my God, I really didn't include Asuka, and I feel bad because she's great. But number 5, and I'm pretty sure she's in here. Hold on, give me a minute. I'm pretty sure she's in here. I'm sorry, I should have made sure. I know she's in here. Oh yeah, she is in here. Charlotte. She gets a lot of heat. I mean, I think Charlotte is someone who, she's really good in the ring. She can be a heel, baby face. She can carry a match. She's really, really good. I think the reason I put her so low because when I looked at the list and she was number 2, my problem was I feel like WWE creates this narrative. So I feel like they force her down our throat. But I'm not. I still can acknowledge how good she is in the ring. Her moonsault is not the best. WrestleMania 2019. She did not need to be in that match at all. But once again, she's so good that I try to remove the bias where I'm like, okay, I know she's good. I know how good she is. I know how good she is. Don't let that booking for you. So I gotta go with number 9 because number 9. Oh my God, I've been drinking too much. I gotta go with number 5 because she's really that good in the ring. I think she's really great. I just think they overbook her, and I think us as fans, or I'll speak for myself as a fan, I get very annoyed with her booking. So I gotta give her number 5.
All right, sounds good. Number 5, to me, might be a little controversial as well, but hey, we're in popular review, right? So
yes.
Number 5 to me is Trish Stratus.
Oh,
right. And we'll talk more about what WWE ranked her, but Trish Stratus is A Hall of Famer, one-time hardcore champion, 7-time women's champion. PWI's won a year in 2002, 2003, 2005, 2006. She inspired the likes of Natty, Michelle McCool, Alexa Bliss, and Carmella, amongst others, and had a 448-day reign that she lost to Mickie James at WrestleMania 22. Trish Stratus, her name solidifies women's wrestling in the 2000s. She is the most popular wrestler as far as women goes in the 2000s. She's the most recognizable name. She, when they talk about women wrestlers of the past or anything like that, outside like a Fabulous Moolah Mae Young, but I'm talking about when they talk about women's wrestling that's inspired this generation, Trish Stratus is it. I mentioned Lita earlier, and I said that she always kind of took a backseat in the shadow position to this woman here, Trish Stratus. The reason how come I can't give her number 1, 2, 3 or anything like that, but I still rate her high because you can't take anything away from Trish Stratus. She worked her butt off. She was a model when she became a fitness model, and then she went out there and she trained and she just busted her butt to become a really good wrestler. I see that dedication to somebody like Lana, who's not doing it as well, but she tries. So I give her respect. So that's a shout out to Lana. It's the only time she'll ever be mentioned in this show. But Trish Stratus deserves that respect. She put on good matches. She was very good at what she did in the ring. She had a 440-day reign as women's champion. However, the reason how come I did not rank her as high, and it's not her fault, it's because the reason how come she had a 448-day reign is because she does not wrestle in this era. She did not have the competitors that she had that you have now. Once again, not her fault, but half the women's division at that time were involved in bra and panty matches. Just it is. She's not really going to lose a fight to Tori Wilson or Stacey Keibler. I mean, I know it's all scripted, but really she's not going to do it. So she had a few of her people come out and they might take the title from her. I think one time she was injured and she had to lose the title. She retired. But ultimately, it's always going to come back to Trish Stratus because she is your star and she is the face of the women's division. And she had that title, face of the women's division, for years. And honestly speaking, even though some people try to fill her shoes when she left, like a Mickie James, like a Beth Phoenix, she still was the face of the women's division in some way, shape, or form. She really was. When they needed a big match thing for a woman, they brought in Trish Stratus. When they had the Tough Enough, they brought in Trish Stratus because she is the ideal. She is the person they say we want every woman to be like until about 2014-15. So because of that and because of the model that she was, I have to give it to Trish Stratus. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our number 5. When we come back, we're going to do 4, 3, and 2. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be back in 20 seconds.
In a world that's powered by violence, on the streets where the violent have power, a new generation carries on an old tradition.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You're watching Unpopular Review. The executive consultant, that's okay, and Bad Guy Champ. Please leave us a like, love, or share. I tell you right now, my 10, 9, and 8 is respectively Lita, AJ Lee, Paige, 6'5", 7, 6, and 5 is Sasha, Bailey, and Trish Stratus. Go ahead, that's okay, and we're doing a reset.
So my number 10, or sorry, my number 10 was not Beth Phoenix. My number 10 was Paige. My number 9 was Beth Phoenix. My number 8, AJ Lee. My number 7 was Bailey Ghost Traps, wherever she is. My number 6, Sasha Banks. And my number 5, Chyna.
Oh, so I'm not as fancy as these gentlemen up above me, but number 10 is shut up. Number 10 is Jazz. Number 9 is Victoria. Number 8 is Melina. Number 7 is Mickie James. 6 is Beth Phoenix, and number 5 is Charlotte.
Let's go to some of these comments. Ronda Rousey, Victoria earned her spot, which she was higher. The match I like is Trish versus Lita. Stratus last match, 2006. Her TNA aren't bad either. Damien, your issues. Trish is sexy. Sup, Ronald McDonald Jackson.
You're rude. You're very rude. Don't do that. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get that.
Chris Harris. Sup, Kaden. Did they rank Victoria? I was late coming in.
I did. She's number 9.
He ranked Victoria. Number 5, Victoria, and Victoria deserves number 5 according to Mr. Tarante Hill. Also, see here we have a Paige and Jazz and
they do got Jazz. I thought I was going to be by myself on that.
Those straps. Chris Harris, that's a lot of milk that you're drinking. Wow. Well, this looks like milk to you. Well, you can't tell. It's water. Okay, I don't drink milk.
No? You don't eat cereal?
No, I'm trying to keep hydrated because that joke was dry though. All right, so let's go ahead to our number 4.
That was towards them, not me.
WWE, yeah, for once. WWE picked none other than China, the 9th wonder of the world. That's okay then. On you, number 4.
This one pained me because she's my favorite women's wrestler. The man, Becky Lynch, at number 4 for me. I mean, you go through her accomplishments in 2018 and 2019. She was PWI's most popular wrestler in 2019. She was PWI Woman of the Year 2018 and 2019. In 2019, she was ranked number 1 of the top 100 female wrestlers in the PWI Female 100. She was Women's Wrestler of the Year in 2018 and 2019 for Sports Illustrated. She is a 1-time Raw Women's Champion. She's a 3-time SmackDown Women's Champion. She is a Women's Royal Rumble winner. And she had Match of the Year, according to WWE, against Charlotte Flair at Evolution in a last woman standing match. Becky Lynch was the face of the division from 2018 through the first half of 2020, or late 2018 through the first half of 2020, almost 2 full years. She carried the division on her back, in my opinion. They tried turning her heel in late 2018. It did not work because everybody loved her so much and she was so hot. She was part of the first ever women's WrestleMania main event. She transcends the business as well. I mean, that's what I've been saying. And to be in the top 10, in my opinion, you have to at least in some way transcend the business. And Becky Lynch did that as well with becoming the man. She was the best character on TV for about a year.
This person seems to know you well.
I have a cardboard cutout of Becky Lynch upstairs.
Apparently.
Oh,
Becky Lynch. That sounds awkward.
I feel very uncomfortable.
I would be uncomfortable if I were you.
I'm very uncomfortable right now.
Becky, it was a gag Christmas gift. But Becky Lynch, I believe, is one of the top women's wrestlers of the last 5 years. Stop. I mean, it pains me to put her at number 4, but unfortunately, she did not have the greatest Raw Women's title reign, which is why I hold her a little lower. It's not her fault why her reign wasn't as great. They just did some bad booking decisions. But I mean, you talk about someone who really rose above bad booking in late 2018 and proved that you can be a star even though you're not given the best material. She is the person that proves that right there more than anybody that's ever been in the women's division, in my opinion.
Good job. So we're at number 4, correct? So I'm sorry, I just want to be sure. So on that is terrible. Number 4 for me is, I mean, you guys have been doing a great job naming acolytes and all that stuff. So
accolades.
Thank you so much. I'm all over.
New York education is a little out of there.
Boom! I gotta go with Sasha.
New York does teach.
I mean, she. Hold on, wait. I'm talking. The champ is talking. So, like, I'm just saying that Sasha is number. I want to make sure it's number 4 for me. I mean, you know how many times she held a title. I mean, you guys already have. What about Alexa Bliss? But you guys already know how many times she held a championship and her feud with Bayley and even Charlotte. There've been some good stuff. I mean, even the thing, not even the thing. She had this wonderful Hell in a Cell match with, I feel like with all 4 horsewomen too, because you got Charlotte. She had that match with Becky, which probably was the best one, and the one recently with Bayley. She can both, and she could do both, and obviously she's better as a heel. But I gotta go with Sasha. I gotta rank her over Charlotte. Like I said, Charlotte, the way that they booked her, it's tiring. But I always thought Sasha was, and it's a bias. I'll be the first to admit it's very biased. But I gotta go with Sasha over Charlotte.
All right, you say you have to go with Sasha over Charlotte, and I'm going with my number 4, which is Charlotte Flair. Listen to this: 1-time Divas Champion, 2-time NXT Women's Champion, 4-time Raw Women's Champion, 5-time SmackDown Women's Champion, 1-time Tag Team Champion, a Grand Slam Champion, 2020 Women's Royal Rumble winner, Woman of the Year in 2016, Feud of the Year in 2016, and also main event of WrestleMania. She's number 4, which is ranked very high. Now, some people might rank her higher. I have a friend who always likes to call her the greatest women's wrestler of all time, as he so constantly tells me all the time. I can't put her up there. She's very good at what she does. Very good at what she does. And she can be entertaining at times. The problem I had with her is sometimes her mic works a little dry. Sometimes it's very good, and sometimes she's very flattened and very wooden. I don't need to see her tell her father to go home every week either. She's done that frequently since she's been on the main roster. I'm not going to sit here and say that her name gets her over, but her name does get her over. That does not mean that she's not talented. That does not mean that she's not good at what she does. That does not mean she does not deserve being a women's champion, because all of that is true. She deserves everything she gets. But she's won so much, so many times, and I don't understand why she wins sometimes. I'm like, she didn't need to win that. It's not getting her over. It's not helping her. It's not helping the brand. It's not helping whatever show she's on. Why did she win? Why are we padding up her numbers? Here's a fun fact, and this is my turn. I put her at number 4, so you think that I wouldn't be talking negative about her, but I'm talking negative about her, okay? And I'm a Charlotte Flair fan. But realistically speaking, when she comes out, they call her a 12-time women's champion. Why? Because she won the NXT Women's Championship twice? They don't count anybody else's NXT Women's Championship runs. Why did they have to count hers? They don't count their men's championship runs. Keith Lee don't come out and they say former NXT champion, a former world champion, or anything like that. They don't do that crap. They don't mention Kevin Owens won the NXT championship. They don't mention Sami Zayn won the NXT championship. They don't mention any of these people in the NXT championship. But for some reason, we have to count Charlotte Flair. Rhea Ripley came out as the NXT Women's Champion, challenged the Royal Rumble winner. I've never seen that before. It's lost. Clearly lost. Why? She didn't need to win that. Ron mentioned earlier she was in a WrestleMania 35 main event. Why? She didn't even need to be in the women's event. She didn't even need to be in the main event. She did. Yes, she was in a feud at the time with Becky and Ronda. They couldn't get her away from Becky, but that could have been ended a while before. It should have been Becky versus Ronda. That was your match, but they had to throw Charlotte Flair in there because they promised her the main event. That's one, right? Then along that run to the main event of WrestleMania, they had to beat Asuka. Why? Why did she have to go in there with the SmackDown Women's Championship? Just to get Becky to beat Becky 2 belts? No, they just had to pad up Charlotte again. So it was really super annoying. So this argument is not so much me to explain why I think Charlotte deserves to be number 4. This is the why I would say if somebody says, why isn't Charlotte your number 1 or number 2? This is why. It's because of these issues right here that I feel like hold her back legitimately. She does not always need to be in that title picture. Does not. She doesn't need to win the championship. She's won the championship, in my opinion, 10 times. I don't count the NXT Women's Championship. She's won that championship 10 times. 5 of those championship runs did not need to happen.
No.
She won the championship in SummerSlam 2018. That was Becky Lynch's heel turn. She didn't need to win. That's why everybody was so happy when Becky slapped the hell out of her and beat the hell out of her. She beat Becky Lynch to take the title off her, the SmackDown Women's Championship, so Bayley can come and win the title off. Those are 2 pads right there. There's too many times this title's her reign's been padded. But I digress. Let's go ahead and read up some of this stuff. Wendy Reichter. Okay, that's fine. Alexa Bliss, number 4. Where's Lita? We talked about Lita earlier. Naomi, 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion, 1 main battle royal. I mentioned that earlier when I gave her a shout out. Charlotte is only hate for her greatness. That's a matter of opinion. Not on number 3 yet. Can we do a top 10 jobber female wrestlers? One of who should be more pushed? Sure, Elvis. Can we put you in there? Elvis Martinez, exactly. All right, and that is number 4. Let's go into number 3. WWE picked as their number 3, Becky Lynch. Caden, take it away.
So my number 3 is Asuka, the current WWE Raw Women's Champion. I had her stuff up. I'm gonna pull it back up. I mean, I can name half of them already. I mean, first ever Women's Royal Rumble winner. She is I believe 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion. No, sorry, she's a 1-time WWE SmackDown Women's Champion. Brain cut short, unfortunately. She is a 2-time WWE Women's Tag Team Champion with Kairi Sane and Charlotte Flair. She is an NXT Women's Champion, former NXT Women's Champion. I believe she still holds the longest reign for that, which is widely considered one of the best NXT title runs, men or women, was Asuka's run. I mean, in the last 10 years in WWE in general, most people will consider that one of the best runs, NXT and WWE. She was a PWI Woman of the Year in 2017. She was part of the PWI Tag Team Top 50 in 2020, ranked number 9 with Kairi Sane and the Kabuki Warriors. She was ranked number 5 in the top 10 Women's Wrestlers of the Year in 2018 in Sports Illustrated.
I agree, Frankie.
Female Competitor of the Year in NXT Year-End Awards in 2016, 2017, and Overall Competitor of the Year in 2017. Asuka has accomplished everything in WWE. She's also a Money in the Bank winner. She is with Bayley. She's one of the Grand Slam champions, where she's won a Money in the Bank, a Royal Rumble, Raw, SmackDown, Tag Team, NXT champion. She has won every single belt except the NXT Tag Team Championship, which just got introduced.
She has won the Tag Team Championship.
Oh, not the NXT Tag Team Championship.
Okay, you're right.
Which changes everything, but if you forget about that, she has done absolutely everything in this company. She has not had the pedestal that other people like a Becky Lynch, a Charlotte Flair, a Trish Stratus, that Sasha Banks, a Bayley, they have had. But she has proved that she is on the same level as the Four Horsewomen. There was conversation for a while about replacing her in the Four Horsewomen with Bayley. A lot of people believed that before 2020 came around and Bayley proved that she deserves to be in the Four Horsewomen. I mean, Asuka has just proven to be probably the best in-ring. In my opinion, she's the best in-ring WWE female superstar of all time. If you look at purely in-ring style, she is amazing and she deserves to be number 3.
That was a hell of a
pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm sitting there saying I really feel bad that I did not include Asuka on my list, but I'm glad everyone else did because she's incredible. And I think that's what's the beauty about this is that everyone's list is so different. And I'm hearing Asuka, I'm like, right, I should have put Asuka on here, but I didn't. And I'm glad you acknowledged her because she deserved her flowers. So for number 3, I picked China. You guys already named all her accomplishments and everything, so I'm not going to run through all that stuff. I just think that she was tremendous once upon a time. One of you guys mentioned earlier she was in the division at the wrong time. Not her last match, but she did everything she could. She did everything she could to avoid being in that women's division. So when she had that match with Ivory and the way she beat her at WrestleMania 17, you almost felt like she just did not want to be there at all. And I'm only going by what people say when I listen to interviews. She made a hell of a career when she first debuted, and you saw how big she was, and she was Triple H's bodyguard. And you know, when we have a bodyguard, if you have a bodyguard like Shawn Michaels' bodyguard was Diesel, you know, a bigger guy than him. Same with AJ. He has Omos. You know, it's usually the dude much big. He had a woman, and this woman was petrifying. She would beat dudes up and women. She didn't. If you walk down a dark alley, matter of fact, if someone said, "Hey, who killed Batman's parents?" and they said China, I would believe it. If no one told me who killed Batman's parents, I would believe it was China. So China should be number 3. She really. And it's unfortunate because 2001 she got let go, right? I think she had another few years left in her to be in the division, and it would have been fun to see what she could have done once upon at that time. And I would go with China for. And yes, someone just mentioned China was the first woman in the men's Royal Rumble. Yes, I think she was also someone. She was very believable when she fought the men. It didn't feel forced. So I gotta go with her for number 3. She did a great job. She played the role very well. So number 3 for China.
All right, not a bad pick at all. My number 3 is actually the same thing as Kaden. I gotta go with Asuka. Asuka, 2-time Raw Women's Champion, 1-time SmackDown Women's Champion, 2-time Women's Tag Team Champion, Money in the Bank winner, 2018 Royal Rumble winner, the very first one. Grand Slam Mixed Match Challenge winner, Woman of the Year in 2017. Top Woman 50 in 2017, PWI's Female Wrestler of the Year in 2017. Asuka, in my opinion, can easily be put in a Mount Rushmore for women's wrestling. Mm-hmm. She has done it all. And actually, if you look at accolades, not numerical, But if you look at accolades, she's the only woman to do these accomplishments I said. She's the only woman to win a Money in the Bank and a Royal Rumble, as well as the SmackDown Championship, the Raw Championship, the Tag Team Championship. Yes, NXT just introduced the Tag Team Championship, so I can't include that. But the NXT Women's Championship, can't include the NXT UK Women's Championship. The only person that could do any of this, well, potentially is Rhea Ripley, but she couldn't win the NXT Tag Team Championship. Asuka, who you think about, has only been on the main roster for about 4 years, give or take. Had that tremendous NXT Women's Championship run, so great that every Women's Championship run is compared to it, right? It was so good. She never lost the championship, had the undefeated streak. Asuka has done it all. And it bothers me that people say the WWE misuses Asuka. WWE did not use Asuka in the best way. WWE does not know how to use Asuka. Let me get this straight. Do I think that they have always done everything right by Asuka? No. Right? She shouldn't have lost the championship on the way to WrestleMania 35. I'm not sure she should have lost to Charlotte at WrestleMania 34, but if anybody should do it at that time, it should have been Charlotte, so I'm okay with that. I just thought it was a little weak the way she lost. But listen to the accolades I said. SmackDown, Raw, Tag Team, Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, Mixed Match Challenge.
NXT.
What more? Yeah, but I'm talking about since she's on the main roster. What more do they have to do? Realistically, she can't go out there and dominate everything. I mean, you still have all these other women wrestlers that need their shot. But compared to the fact that she has done, I mean, she's jobbed to a few wrestlers. That's true. You know, she made Alexa Bliss look like a monster about a month or so ago. I remember one time she lost a feud to Carmella. That's fine. I understand that. She can't always be the one to get the upper hand. It's not NXT anymore. She can't always do that, right? But considering the fact she's been with the company for 4 years and everything I named she did in the first 3.
Yeah.
That is amazing. If she can retire today and still be in contention of anybody's Mount Rushmore, you have to give it to Asuka. And she was this close to being my number 2. This close. Give it up because nobody is ready for Asuka. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the number 2. WWE picked none other than Charlotte Flair.
Of course.
So, Caden, we're on you.
So my number 2 here was Trish Stratus. I mean, I'm not going to list every single thing because Chris already went through most of it earlier. But I am going to counter with his one argument. The reason why he puts her a little lower on the list than some people probably would is that because she didn't have a lot of competition in that era. And in my opinion, I don't put her down for that. I actually put her above for that because she was able to rise above the bra and panty match era when women were treated like a joke in WWE and prove that you can be a legit star and a good wrestler when back then all they wanted was for you to look hot. And that's what she was a model. That's why they brought her in. She had no wrestling experience whatsoever. And she turned out to be one of the best women's wrestlers of all time. I mean, I am going to say this. I mean, 7-time WWE Women's Champion. And, I mean, she proved that in that era, you can be a legit star. I mean, Lita, I think, did the same thing, but not to the level that Trish did. Trish also was the number 30 in the first ever Women's Royal Rumble. That means that she was enough of a star to give her the first ever number 30, which is the spot that everybody wants. I mean, I'm not going to make the same argument that Chris made. I'm just going to, I'm just going to counter the one that he did, and I think that she should be a number 2.
Good. So
I understand that. I'm perfectly fine with that. Like,
no, that was a hell of a thing. So, like,
it makes total sense to me. I don't agree, but it makes total sense. I can't deny that argument.
But that's the fun thing about this list. You can't agree, but you can sit here and go like, yeah, that's cool.
You're hearing names that's not even in your top 10, and you're saying, okay, well, I can understand that. Like, I've seen people, multiple people put Alexa Bliss. You know, some people might not understand it. I do. Like I said, I give Alexa Bliss a lot of credit, so I can see why she was in it.
And you do, because you know what? Well, Alexa Bliss, I mean, I feel like she was kind of force-fed myself, but she's not terrible. She's definitely when you got
on the mic, and I challenge Caden for that because I remember him saying earlier, Alexa Bliss, you know, so great in the mic, and she was, you know, had the pipe bomb and everything like that. But Alexa Bliss was also very good in the mic, and she knows how to. When she went out there and she just pretty much ragged on everybody who was in Total Divas at the time.
Okay.
Because a lot of people hated Total Divas, but what people need to understand is without Total Divas, I'm not sure there really would have been a women's revolution because Total Divas was very popular with a lot of different
Audience.
wrestling fans,
Audience, yes.
and they were the ones that really
non wrestling fans. I mean, that's
Correct.
one of the things
And
I'll always
exactly.
I'll always defend the Bellas as well for this, because my mom, who does not watch wrestling whatsoever, the only reason why she will somewhat watch wrestling is because she knows of the Bellas and Daniel Bryan because of Total Bellas.
Because of Total Bellas and because of Total
Absolutely.
Divas. And my mother was
another audience.
Correct. And it was because of Total Divas, and I think somebody was making some comments on it, that's when the Give Women a Chance started trending and stuff like that. So
yeah.
But AJ came out there and just ragged on everybody. You have to really look it up. I can't do a verbatim or word for word, but a lot of things
that was
right. And answer real question real quick before you go back, Jack. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good.
The one and only Gail Kim, she was let go too soon. She deserved a lot more. Chris, can I have your opinion on Gail Kim? Gail Kim was a tremendous talent. She was a very good competitor. She was very good at in-ring work. She did not suck on the mic. She was ahead of her time, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. That's all it was. She was ahead of her time, and what she wanted was better for the style of Impact Wrestling TNA at the time, which is why her career spans pretty much with TNA. When she came to WWE, she wanted to do everything that they're able to do now, and they weren't having it. So she took a stand and she rolled out the ring. We all know the story. She rolled out the ring and she quit.
I was going to ask,
was that professional? No, it wasn't professional. But I give Gail Kim a lot of credit. But unfortunately, this is top 10 WWE, and I can't put Gail Kim up there.
Right.
But she did make the top 50.
No, and I just
they put her in the top 50.
Yeah, if this included Impact and TNA, I would 100%. I think I would actually put her there, but it doesn't.
But see, and that's the thing too. Like, I was surprised on that because I do think Gail Kim is and I know no one asked for my opinion on it, but I think Gail Kim is a tremendous talent, and I'm glad that they acknowledge her. But I wanted to ask you, Chris, like, do you think? How old is she now? Like in her 40s, right?
She's like 41, 42.
But do you think she would be able to stand in this division at the moment? Because I think she would do very well.
I think even if she came back, she can stand in this division. I think she was that good. I think she was that talented. Okay. Do I think she's come out there and winning titles? No. But do I think she can come out there and have solid matches? You damn straight. Gail Kim was just a tremendous athlete. I never will say that she was one of my favorites. She was not. But I have nothing but respect for Gail Kim and everything that she accomplished. And when she went into the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame, I was 100% behind it. That was just a very good decision. Everyone, please like, share, follow, and tell a friend or family. Support Unpopular Review, powered by Yep, I Like Wrestling. We are still partnered with Yep, I Like Wrestling, but we're no longer powered by Yep, I Like Wrestling. But thank you so much. And Gail Kim versus Shayna will be a tremendous match. All right, Bad Guy Champ, you're number 2.
Ooh, so number 2. Now we're really hitting this. So when I was formulating this list, I was trying to, and it was very hard. But I think I already knew who my number 1 was and my number 2 was. But it was trying to figure out the bottom and trying to build this sandwich that when I made that sandwich reference earlier, you put a corn reference. But for number 2, I gotta go with Amy Dumas, Leader. I'm not gonna name her whole accomplishments. You guys know it. Like a 4 or 5 time women's champion. She was with the Hardy Boys. She used to roll with Eso Rios, and then Eso Rios became like abusive, and she started rolling with the Hardy Boys. And she was someone who brought risk-taking for the women's division. Honestly, growing up, I was more of a Leader fan than Trish. Honestly, that's how I felt. And then she showed I feel like she showed some range when she was rolling with Edge and she was doing the heel stuff. I thought that was, looking back at that was really cool. It was different, but it was really cool. But I gotta go with number 2 for Leader, because she was always, even though I think she was always she was a better wrestler in the beginning than Trish. Trish surpassed her. So I gotta go with number 2 with Lita, Amy Dumas.
Well, that kind of spoiled your number 1, I think. But okay,
that's
good
fine.
job there.
I am a good job.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to come back with our number 1 picks. Let's see. Where does
you didn't give your number 2.
Thank you. I almost did it again, right? Where does Bull Nakano and Alundra Blaze rank for y'all? Bull Nakano, I will put her in the 40s, maybe. Alundra Blaze, I will put in my top 10 through 20. So that's the answer to that. Wasn't Lita part of Godfather's Hoe at one point before she was known? Possibly, true. But I don't know.
It's true. No, it's true. He's right.
All right. No, there you go. It's just like the conga line.
Did you just steal my line?
No.
There you go.
No, I didn't. Number 2 for me is Becky Lynch. One-time Raw Women's Champion, 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion, including the first ever 2019. Including the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. She was the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. She won the 2019 Women's Royal Rumble. She main evented and won WrestleMania 35, pinning Ronda Rousey, and the only person to do that. She was the first woman to sign a contract with over 100. With a first up per woman to sign a contract for over $1 million. 399-day reign as the Raw Women's Championship before she had to relinquish it due to her pregnancy. She was the most popular wrestler of 2019. She was the Women's Wrestler of the Year in 2018 and 19. She was the number 1 wrestler of 2019, and she main evented 3 pay-per-views in 2019, which is not something common for a woman to do. 3 main events in 2019. Becky Lynch carried the company. I shouldn't say, I'm not going to use the word carry the company, because what WWE tries to do now is make sure no one star carries the company.
Right.
But she was the man, no pun intended, of the company from late 2018 to just what Katie said about the early part of 2020. Her career was getting a little stale. Her run was getting a little stale. Part of that was not her fault, like Katie said. Part of that was her fault. It was the same thing I had with Drew McIntyre. You go out there and you just pretty much beat everybody kind of easily because she was. It kind of makes it a little bit stale toward the end. And that's what was happening. That's why a lot of people were disappointed about the Shayna feud, because Shayna at least came out and started really kicking her butt. But Becky Lynch, we talked about earlier how Bayley would have been ranked a little lower, but she had such a dominant 2020. When Becky Lynch skyrocketed, before she skyrocketed, she wouldn't even be in my top 10. But when she skyrocketed, my God, she just surpassed everything and everybody. She was the man, and everybody wanted to work with her. Edge, John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Everybody wanted to just get a segment with her because she was that over.
Yes.
Seth Rollins had to get her pregnant because she was that over. It is amazing to me what Becky Lynch can accomplish, and the fact that she was partially responsible, won't say solely, but partially responsible for being the main event of WrestleMania. That's historical. That's amazing. May never be duplicated. We don't know. Probably will, but you don't know when it or if it will happen. But it was amazing the fact that she got to main event WrestleMania.
Thank you.
Become a whole Navy and sell so much merchandise and sign this contract. Got to give it Becky Lynch. She's number 2. Almost wanted to switch or Asuka, but because of the accomplishments that Becky Lynch did, I had to give her number 2. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break for about 40-some seconds. When we come back, we're going to talk about our number 1s. We want to hear about your number 1s. And I don't know why I put that up again. Nobody else liked the hoodie. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Wait, what?
But I would like to officially challenge the technician, David Sanderson, to a boxing match. 1-on-1 in the ring. Let's do it.
If we're going to have this match, it's not going to be on your terms. It's going to be on mine. So this is not going to be a boxing match. This is going to be a wrestling match.
You know what? I'll do it. I'm not running from you like you're trying to run from me. You didn't think I'd accept your challenge. Well, guess what, bud? I have. I'm going to meet you in the ring. I'm going to whoop dad.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. This week on Friday Night SmackDown, I am actually going to be joined, since That's So Caden's leaving us. I'm actually going to be joined.
Where are you going?
I gotta be in Tampa for WrestleMania,
and then he's going to AEW. But I'm actually going to be joined by 2 members of Wrestling Is Everything, Alex Best and Mike Quiones. Looking forward to them, and we're going to talk about our WrestleMania predictions. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And also, in case you ain't here, it looks like we got a little bit of internal Civil War turmoil going on, as That's So Caden challenges none other than the technician David Sanderson, who has accepted. Match place is going to be taking place. We're going to let you know a time but that should be really, really interesting. If that's okay, then David has been training a lot in the dojo. I hope you are ready.
He's not ready for the smoke. I've been training as well. I'm going to be in Florida this weekend, so, we'll see what happens.
We're definitely going to see. Let's go ahead to our number 1. I'll do a bit of a reset here. My number 10 is Lita. Number 9 is AJ Lee. Number 8 is Paige. 7 is Sasha Banks. 6 is Bayley. Number 5 is Trish Stratus. Number 4 is Charlotte Flair. 3 is Asuka. 2 is Becky Lynch. Kaden, go ahead and go with your number 1.
Oh, I thought I was going to go through my top 10 as well.
Do it.
Yeah. Go to, and then end with number 1.
That's my number 10 was Paige. My number 9 is the Glamazon Beth Phoenix. My number 8 is AJ Lee. My number 7 is Bayley. My number 6 is Sasha Banks. My number 5 is Chyna. My number 4 is Becky Lynch. My number 3 is Asuka. My number 2 was Trish Stratus. So let's get into my number 1. The top of the elite of women's wrestlers in WWE. It is, of course, the only person I left off this list. Santina Marella. I'm kidding, guys. Come on. It's the queen, Charlotte Flair. I'm not going to go through every single accomplishment that she has, but
I'm tired of it. So my gimmick.
10 non-NXT championships, 2 NXT Women's Championships, a Women's Royal Rumble winner, one of the only 4 in history in the Women's Royal Rumble. She has accomplished absolutely everything. She made it into WrestleMania. Whether she should have been in that match or not is out of the picture, in my opinion, because she did it. It doesn't matter if she should have, but she did it. I believe she was also in the first ever Women's Hell in a Cell against Sasha Banks, if I'm correct. Yes. Charlotte Flair is the top ultimate, someone who transcends the business. Part of that is 100% her last name, but I'm not going to knock her for that. She gets in the ring every single time, and she performs to perfection. She is not the greatest on the mic, but when she does not, in my opinion, I have not ever seen her in a match disappoint me. Her NXT run, while I did not want to see it, I did end up actually enjoying it. She had a very solid match at In Your House against Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley. Her match against Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 36 Night 2 was a very, very underrated women's match of that year, which was unfortunately due to the lack of a crowd. I think if they had a crowd, that would have probably rivaled Sasha and Bayley Hell in a Cell match for the best women's match of the year. Charlotte Flair was part of numerous of the best women's matches in WWE. You look at WrestleMania 32 against Bayley and Becky Lynch. That's my personal favorite WrestleMania match in the women for women in the last 5 years. Another one of my favorites against Asuka at WrestleMania 34. She had her fantastic match on Evolution against Becky Lynch. She had that good SummerSlam triple threat, which I did not think was going to be good against Becky Lynch and Carmella. She proves again and again that she is the best in-ring worker besides Asuka, in my opinion, in WWE. Whether you want to say that she gets her accomplishment stacked a little bit, that they just throw it on her because they can, and that she gets handed to it because of her dad's name, that's irrelevant because she has continued to prove that she does indeed deserve all of those things, that she is all of what she is shown to be on TV.
Good list, good list. You said that people were going to hate it, but I really don't hate your list. But if I can just throw some a wrench in here, do you feel like you said Charlotte was your number 1? Do you feel like she's someone who do you feel like booking has been like the way that they book? You can understand why people had been against her.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, when they book someone like that, I mean, it's similar to how they book Roman, and I won't. That's why I will also never hold it down against Roman. They're not the ones booking; they're just doing what they're told. I don't think she's backstage saying, "I need to be booked in this match."
Okay, no, I just want to understand, and not a bad list.
I'm not going to agree with that one. We were simpatico until you said that. I happen to know that she does do that, but that's fine.
Oh, so okay. Well,
she uses her stroke. Trust me, she does.
Okay, so I'm going to leave that with Chris because Chris knows. I'm going to before I go to my I'm drinking water. That's rude. So for number 1 for me,
go to your top 10, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. See, look, Chris is drinking water. No one's telling him to stop drinking.
I like how he came so prepared. But, I mean, it's not like Caden came prepared either because he's been stealing my pictures.
I was not prepared. I just wanted to be on the show because I knew the show needed gold. So I'm going to go through my list. And
Mario.
This is a great hoodie. You can get it from Old Navy. Cheap plug. Boom. But my top 10 for my – hold on. Wait. I'm talking. Give me a minute. So, boom. 10 is Jazz. Number 9 is Victoria. Number 8 is Melina. Number 7 is Mickey James. I'm sorry, I'm looking through my phone. 7 is Mickey James. 6 is Beth Phoenix. 5 is Charlotte Flair. Number 4 is Sasha Banks. Number 3 is China. Number 2 is Lita. And as I say number 2, as I wear this hoodie that I was wearing today, you got to have a Mario and Luigi. And so for number 1 is Trish Stratus, who is Mario, to which Lita is Luigi. I mean, I'm not going to go through her accomplishments. You guys talked about it. I remember when she first debuted and she was a manager for TNA, and not the brand of wrestling that's no longer around that became Impact Wrestling. I'm talking about literally Tess and Albert. She was a manager. She was literally just there because she was a beautiful face. But she got so much better as time went on. She got better. She won that. It was Survivor Series 2001. And it was Team WWF against the Alliance, and she won that match. And as a kid who did not understand booking, I just said, "Oh wow, she won." But as time went on, she got better and better and better and better. And the way she would implement moves. There was a move. I think what was it called? The Matrix. Yes, thank you. And she got better as time went on. She could have went on another. And it's a rough estimate. She could have went for another 3 years. She retired in 2006, came back occasionally. She had that match at WrestleMania. It was her, Snooki, and John Morrison, who got mad for whatever reason about something. But when WWE picked her as number 1, I did not fight that. I didn't sit here and go like, wow, that's wrong. I think she is number 1. I think, and especially now, I don't know stuff about, I'm not going to say about the 80s and everything, but I know Trish, like, that's the woman I grew up with, and she earned number 1, and I have to agree with WWE on that when they say she is number 1. She's just done everything. She improved, she got better, and if she comes in the ring right now, she had that match with I'm not Thanos, I'm sorry, Charlotte, and even though, Charlotte beat her because Charlotte beats everybody. Like, I saw the uncut version of Endgame, and it wasn't Tony who snapped his finger. It was Charlotte. So, Charlotte beats everybody. And that's fine. And that's okay. I saw the Snyder cut of Endgame. And, but if Trish came back right now, she would not embarrass herself. So, Trish is number 1. Trish is number 1. She's the best.
All right, and for the WWE's sake, let's just go ahead and say that they also put Trish Stratus as number 1. Who did Chris put as number 1? Ladies and gentlemen, it is, if you can't guess by now, none other than China. I grew up watching China, and I respect China. China is the 9th wonder of the world. I disagree with somebody when they said earlier that she was put in the wrong era, because imagine the matches she would have had now. If she would put it in this era, I still would want to see her fight the men. China was a specimen all onto herself. Very good at what she did, to the point where she's in there with a woman. You think that's not fair, right? And I know a lot of women now are bigger, but unless their name, realistically speaking to me, is Nia Jax, I still think China will bulldoze through everybody. Beth Phoenix was known as the second coming of China, so to speak. That's why they had her in the Women's Royal Rumble, stuff like that. But think about it. One of the things I love most about WrestleMania 19 is the promo between Jericho and Shawn Michaels. Great match. And during that promo, one thing Jericho said was, I used to be told that I'm going to be the second Shawn Michaels, and it was a great compliment at the time, but I stopped focusing on trying to be the next Shawn Michaels, and I started focusing on becoming the first Chris Jericho, which, ladies and gentlemen, he did. Beth Phoenix was able to do it to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, China is still the prototype of any woman wrestler that comes in there, muscular. China came on, and the first thing she did was she grabbed a Marlena, Terry Reynolds, who was not in this top 50, but was, you talk about top 10 attractive women, she might be up there anyway. Marlena, and she ragdolled the hell out of her to the point where if you did not pay attention, you would think it was really a doll. You would not think that was a human being that was being ragged by her. Okay, now I don't know if you saw it. I'm pretty sure Bad Guy Champ did. But it was amazing the strength that she had. I felt sorry for Marlena that she even had to do that spot. But she sold it well. She was a woman protecting a man, and she did it well. And let me tell you something. You want to talk about Becky Lynch's popularity? Chyna's popularity was out of control for a long time. Chyna was super over with the WWE Universe. Super over. And when she had matches with men, it looked believable. She was in the Royal Rumble. She was in the King of the Ring. It looked believable. You're going to tell me you don't see a Chyna coming in there and having a match with Adam Cole, and Chyna could be possibly the person who looks like she's the favorite? Even a Daniel Bryan.
I would say Chyna would look believable against like a Bobby Lashley, in my opinion.
That's my point.
Bobby might be a little extensive, but like
it would. But I'm just saying,
smaller. No, but she was someone who, when she had the match with the men, no one questioned it. Matter of fact, if I can, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
But Christopher, EC, when you remember SmackDown 2, correct? So when that game would happen and the season mode or whatever, for whatever reason, she was the only one eligible to go for the WWF title. I'm just saying, in the game, you couldn't do that with any other woman.
She also was for a brief spell. They took her out, of course. Was in the SummerSlam main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah. She was supposed to face Austin, correct?
Correct. She was supposed to face Austin, and they put Triple H back in there. You know, but she is a Hall of Famer. Now, granted, she needs to go in there single, but she is a Hall of Famer. She's a two-time Intercontinental Champion. No other woman has won the Intercontinental Championship two times. You know, she did not once but twice, defeating Jeff Jarrett, Hall of Famer. You know,
and Jericho, yeah.
And she was in it. She was co-champions with Jericho. You know, she won the Women's Championship. She was the first woman to compete in the Royal Rumble. You know, she was in the King of the Ring tournament. She's had multiple matches with men, and like I said, they were all believable. So I have to give the credit to Chyna, because she definitely deserves it. We got a Brock versus. Well, it's not realistic, but Brock versus almost anybody is not realistic. So
let me ask this.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say here. You mentioned earlier about Chyna Hall of Fame, but can we all agree that she should be by herself?
Yes, no doubt.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen multiple people in the Hall of Fame, and I defend the Hall of Fame, but I've seen multiple people in the Hall of Fame who definitely don't deserve to be in there before Chyna. Chyna is something special. And if you had the DX, if you look at DX during their era, their high day, which I know a lot of people want to talk about Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and yeah, they were the ones that started, and they were the ones that were super popular. But the most over DX was really, realistically speaking, was when Triple H was leading with Road Dogg and Billy Gunn and so forth like that.
DX Army, yeah.
You take Chyna out of that, doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree.
So Chyna, I have to give it to it. And I mean, actually, now I'm thinking about most of the accolades I'm saying all have to do with surrounding the men. But the fact that she was able to get over as she was without, having the body and the looks, even though that later came, with the Playboy and stuff like that, is amazing. And I'll always put Chyna up there because no matter what year it is, they always go back to Chyna. They do it with Trish Stratus too, but not as much, in my opinion, as they do with Chyna. She's the definitive woman. So I would have to go ahead with Chyna. Chyna versus Sasha, who will win? Chyna versus Jade Cargill. Chyna will beat Sasha. Chyna will beat Jade Cargill. I will be upset, and I will try to beat Chyna up myself, but Chyna will beat Jade Cargill. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our top 10. Thank you so much for putting up your top 10 and watching with us for the last hour and a half. So join us tomorrow as Big Daddy Cool returns to Mondays for the last time with none other than the technician and a special third guest that I decided to pop in there on Thursday. Join us on Tuesday as That's So Caden joins us, myself, as well as James and the Mark Victor Rodriguez, as we review Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and join us on Wednesday as we do AEW and NXT TakeOver with none other than Bad Guy Champ the Sheriff, as well as Evil Dose. And also on Thursday, join us as we do another NXT TakeOver special to host of that to be announced at a later date. And also, in addition to that, we're also going to be reviewing Goodfellas, which is going to be Cedar Superior, myself, the Mark Victor Rodriguez, and James. And then join us on Friday for SmackDown, where it's going to be myself, along with Wrestling is Everything, Mike Kionis, as well as Alex Best, and we're going to do our WrestleMania positions and talk about WrestleMania. Speaking of WrestleMania Saturday, it's a full week. It's WrestleMania week. Get excited about it. WrestleMania week Saturday, we have WrestleMania night 1. WrestleMania week, we have WrestleMania Sunday night 2. It is going to be a tremendous time. UPR every day, all day, every day. Join us right here. But for that, so Gaten,
I say one quick thing. Later tonight, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier review will be up. It'll probably be up in the next 15-20 minutes. So go check that out once it's up.
Yes. Happy Wrestling Week.
You all have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us here at Unpopular Review. Good night, everybody.
Mwah!
What the hell was that?